Peace and blessings, everybody. I am your brother, Juan Carlos X, at Slaystone Music, anywhere online. Welcome to the Plug Room, where you can plug your business, plug your brand. At the Plug Room, we are all about community development, which is building people and linking people with people. If you find value in this stream on whatever platform you're watching it on, please share it out. Let us know in the comments. If you're interested in sharing your value or being on the Plug Room, text the word network to 559-791-8468. Someone will reach out to you. Again, welcome to the Plug Room, theplugroom.com. Hashtag the Plug Room on any social media platform you're on. You should find us. And again, we are all about community development, which is building people and linking people with people. Today, our guest is a teacher of oneness. We're going to be exploring his mind, tapping in with him, delving in his journey and learning a little bit more about him. So without any further delay, let us bring up our guest, Tre Fillmore, teacher of oneness.
Hey, very, very grateful, very, very much so an attitude of gratitude to be joining, to be exploiting that which is needed. Obviously, if we're coming together, it's much needed. So we just want to expose all of those who can see and who can hear. Very blessed to be here. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you for being here. So in your own words, who is Tre Fillmore and what are you known for?
Man, I'm sure the people who are close knitted, I would say the closely, family oriented business associates, friends, family, associates of every kind. Everybody that knows me knows that I like to speak upliftment and encouragement, man. I like to take challenges head on, man, and always know that the solution exists within. No matter what we deal with, no matter what we may encounter, there's always a solution. The solution existed well before the problem even became existent. So everybody knows that I'm a talker. I like to express, very verbally, just things that we need to be aware of and be focused of. And it all starts with self, everything that comes into me as teaching and healing. I try to disseminate that to everyone that's close to me and everyone that's open to and receptive to seeing it. So that's what people know me about, know me of, whether, it's my family members, my friends, my business associates and customers, people who I've assisted in service and stuff like that too. They all know me pretty much the same way. If you would ask anybody, that would be the common known thing is that, I like to spread, words of wisdom, upliftment, encouragement, and edification in every aspect.
Yes, sir. What was your genesis or the beginning as far as oneness in creation? How did that evolve?
Well, it all started, from very, very early in the childhood, man. I mean, I can go all the way back to when I was probably about a year old, man. And my grandma and my mom can attest to this. Is I was very strange in the fact that I talked and questioned things that most children my age wouldn't talk about and question. I always felt like there was something very powerful that was controlling everything. And I would ask questions to the elders and ask them, do you hear God? Do God talk to you? And they would just blow me off a little bit. I could feel it, that they just blow me off and be like, yeah, baby, God talks to you. And then I'd get deeper and I'd be like, well, what does his voice sound like? Like, how does he sound? Because I felt like even at that age, and I'm just going back to as far as I can remember. I mean, I have memories before that. And my mom said I couldn't have possibly remembered that because I was not even talking. But, I was always a really, really conscious, aware child. And I always felt the presence of God. And I'm going to tell you, man, the beginning of it, when I really, really started having a connection with God was when I wasn't even 2 years old yet. I can remember this specifically because At that time, I couldn't wait to hold up two fingers and say I'm 2 years old, because I felt like holding up two fingers was more important than holding up one. So that I could tell you for certain that I hadn't reached my second year in age yet. And it was one instance, very detailed specific. I remember, and my mom and grandma both remember this incident. There was one night my mom was guiding me through my prayers at night before going to bed. And as she's guiding me through it, now lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, that's the part that got me, that part right there. So that if I should die before I wake, it struck some real, real intense fear in me, man. At that age, not even being a year old. I mean, not even being a 2 years old. I know I was over a year old because I felt like my birthday was coming. But not even being a toddler yet, that struck me in that prayer. Repeating that from my mom, and I just felt the most intense fear, man. And I'm screaming and hollering, I'm yelling, and my mom is, I could tell that she was stunned, and it was making her nervous. And my grandma came in the room, and after some moments I calmed down. But when that fear struck me, man, I knew that there was a real power that existed in this universe. I knew it was a real power. And it's very interesting that the first instance of what I felt that was so compelling and so emotional and almost traumatizing for me at that age, the first instance was fear. That's the first thing I felt, was an intense fear. But then from the same energy, from the same force that I felt that fear from, I also felt love and wisdom and compassion, and it was very strange. And then the love and the compassion and the wisdom made me feel safe. So the same energy that made me feel fear made me feel safe, and that I was taken care of. And after that, man, I always, all the way leading up to my second year birthday, I always had a fear of going to sleep just because of those words in that prayer. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. I wouldn't sleep. I was, a year old and having real bad issues with insomnia. I wasn't getting no sleep or nothing, man, for a long time. And this was going on night after night after night. And it went on until an apparition of a very, very high being, very, very high being, man. I felt the power and the energy of this being, that my description at best would be, it was an angelic being, man. It was a celestial, a very highly evolved being, came through my ceiling and through the wall. And as it was approaching me, I froze. Like I froze up in fear, like I was stiff, I couldn't move. And as the being was approaching me, it wasn't using its mouth to speak to me. It was speaking in my mind. The lips wasn't even moving. The being was all lit up, like it had white linens on, it had gold, it had golden skin, and the hair and the skin was about the same color, and the eyes was like diamonds, man. And it was speaking to me and telling me, my dear child, do not be afraid. You will never see death. You are an eternal being, and you will remain evermore. I will never forget those words, man. And those words meant more to me and was more powerful than my aunt telling me, why you worried about death? You too young to be worried about death. You need to just go to sleep. You need to relax. Stop worrying about death. And I was thinking, how can I be too young to worry about death? I feel like this power that I'm feeling could zap me at any moment. It could take me out at any moment. How that doesn't make sense to me. At that early of an age, I didn't think that those words made sense to me, that I'm too young to worry about death. But what that angel told me, and that's what I call it an angel. It could have been an extraterrestrial. It could have been just, something just beyond what man can comprehend, really. But, I attested to being an angelic being because of the energy that I felt emitting from the being, and the words that were spoken. And when I was communicating with this being, as it was talking to me, I felt like there was something in my distant past that connected me to this being. I felt like there was a memory that I wasn't really clear on that connected me with this being. So after a while, I started to calm down and I felt relaxed and there was no fear. But the three words that the being said to me that'll stick with me as long as, golly, probably as long as I'm in this reality and as long as I'm conscious, is the words, "You will remain evermore." And it didn't click until one time in my incarceration. I was getting ready because they had me leading Bible study when I was locked up. And one time when I was in my incarceration period, I was writing down my first, middle, and last name. And when I wrote down my first, middle, and last name, those three words was in my first, middle, and last name. Remain evermore. You see, because my name is Tremaine Everett Fillmore. So the remain was in Tremaine, the ever was in Everett, and the more was in Fillmore. So I felt that it was something very, very powerful and divine all the way involved from before my birth to now to today, where we're at right now. There's something very, very powerful. There's something very intelligent and something very loving, but it's something that we should also have reverence for. We should have reverence to this power. And it don't matter what you believe. It don't matter what you believe, or if you don't believe, or if you do, it doesn't matter. We are all part of one creation, and we all have an important task, something that's very, very important to our existence that we need to get in tune with. And so, going all the way back to my first memory and that experience with that angelic being telling me that I would remain evermore, kind of helped me conquer no matter what this world brings to me. I believe I can overcome and conquer it. And I feel like we all should feel that way. And we all should, as human beings and as a part of creation, we should all feel that there is something much more powerful than our minds and bodies that is governing and controlling everything. No matter what we see on the media, on the TV, whatever the politicians are talking about, really, that doesn't even really matter, because there's a much powerful force that exists throughout this universe, and we need to get in tune with it through ourselves. We can listen to, him and her and they, yeah, but when it comes down to it, we really got to develop a relationship with self, because through self is where we get the connection to the most highest power throughout the universe. That's in a nutshell. And I think that's very important for all of creation.
Indeed, brother. Um, why did you choose the lane or the path of a teacher of oneness and wear that as a label when you could have been um, a business owner, a machinist, an artist, a painter? Out of all
Mm-hmm.
the lanes, why did you choose this as the lane and title to go down and it be your path?
Uh, Reason being, just on a very deep, sincere level, I feel like everything that we do and everything that we involved in is an aspect of creation. We're part of creation, but we also create events in our life. But we need to also understand that, this person believes what they believe, and, they titled this way, they named this that way. And really what it all comes down to is that no matter what we believe, or, how we grew up, or what our religious preferences are, or whatever our race or color or creed or culture is, we're all one creation. And I feel like my um, journey and my purpose in this life is to bring that awareness to all of man. Like, truth be told, separation is a destructive way of thinking. Like, we need to come to a point where we understand that everything is unified, whether we agree with it or get along with it or not. Whatever you're dealing with another aspect of yourself, you know. So I think that's a very important thing for us as mankind to be aware of, is you're dealing with self and you're dealing with other self. When you deal with others, you're dealing with the other aspect of yourself, because God is one. And it doesn't really make a difference with all of this. They see it this way, we see it that way. All that's doing is creating more chaos, calamity, and confusion. The separation is confusion. It's a symbol of confusion. So no matter what I'm doing, whether I'm selling cars at the dealership, no matter whether I'm, dealing with things in my relationship with my lady, whether I'm trying to explain something and educate my friends and family on it, it's all teaching. It's all with the intention of teaching. So I just put the two together, no matter what it is I'm doing in life or what I'm dealing with, my objective is to bring about the understanding of teaching and healing work, and just be able to explain and show that we're all one. And we just need to try to understand, either we're teaching, each one teach one. You know what I'm saying? Either I'm learning from you as another aspect of myself, or I'm teaching you and you're learning from me as another aspect of self. So that's the reason why I choose that title, because it doesn't matter what I do. Everything is one creation. I put OIC even on my flyers and my advertising poster boards at the dealership. Everything is OIC. Everything is one. Everything is one creation, and we all are part of that one creation. So that's why I have OIC Auto even on my advertisements for the automotive industry. No matter what I do, I see it as one creation. And the OIC is just a symbolization of being aware. But it also is an acronym for oneness in creation. But it is an awareness of an eye opener, saying, oh, okay, I get it. Oh, okay, I realize. Oh, I see. So it's all connected. So teaching and healing is what I'd like to consider myself doing in every aspect of life.
Yes, sir. How long has OIC been in the business of teaching, and as that entity? How long has OIC been around?
Well, OIC didn't launch until March 12th of this year. I've been using it in everything that I do, everything that I've done as far as car sales and stuff like that. Like I said, my advertisements and stuff have said OIC Auto since, golly, 2019. But with the whole astral projection and the experience that I had with the out of body experience in 2012 was when it was official. But I wasn't putting it on anything as far as business wise up until I started the Oneness in Creation YouTube channel. I started doing the recordings, doing the teaching and healing work through OIC Oneness in Creation on March 12th of 2023. But the whole concept and idea of me being given the directive and given the instruction to disseminate, through teaching and healing work through Oneness in Creation came about, hit my consciousness and awareness officially on December 20th, 2012. But just now setting up the YouTube channel and establishing the other networks this year. So it's very fresh, very new exposure beyond me.
Yes, sir. So if somebody came to you and said at the dealership in your place of business, and they see this OIC and this Oneness in Creation, and they say, Trey, what's your why? Why are you even doing that? What would your answer be?
Oh, when they've seen OIC on my advertising stuff for the dealership?
Or what if they ask you what your why is? Why are you doing OIC? What would your response be?
I would just tell them that, it's because I was called to duty. I heard the voice of the Spirit very clearly, and the Spirit told me that I was created for this purpose, for this reason. And it's to disseminate to humanity that there is divinity within our humanity, and that we need to become more in tune with it. We need to be aware of our divinity so that it distracts the ideas and the mindset of insanity, because our minds are like a magnet. The way the universe is set up and the way our brains work is, energy flows where attention goes. So whatever you constantly building attention to and constantly focusing on and meditating on and marinating on, all you're doing is creating more, putting more power, putting more energy towards it, which will materialize into our physical reality. So my objective is to get us to start distracting more of the insanity and start focusing on the divinity and start getting more in tune with, God and our connection to God, and our place in creation and what God wants us to be doing, because there's a lot of distraction. There's a lot of distraction in this world, and there's an agenda and a purpose to continue the distraction, because when you start going within, you realize this is the truth. When you start going within and tapping into your divine essence, you go within, you ain't really got to do without much of anything. It's all there. It's all within. All of the solutions, all of the direction, all of the guidance is from within. A teacher can teach you any and everything, but if you don't have understanding within, if you don't tap into the understanding within, then the teacher sound like that teacher on Charlie Brown. Walk, 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 walk. Makes no sense. The teacher only appears when the student is ready, and when the student goes within to pull out and tap into understanding, then that's when true understanding begins to happen. And so that's what I'm constantly disseminating. That's what I'm constantly putting out there. It doesn't matter what your profession is, doesn't matter what you're into. I mean, whatever you do is all a part of you. So, do it with conscious and awareness. Do it with good intention. Do it with purpose. Don't just frolic about wandering around aimlessly. Have an intent, have a focus, a determined purpose, and an outcome that you foresee, and then things line up. That's everything in life, no matter what it is: business, relationships, your artistic expression, your creativity in every aspect. It's all a part of you. It's all wired up within your soul journey. So, that's everything that we do. So anybody, it doesn't matter what it is, I would have the same conversation with any and everybody, but it's going to be um, distinguished by that person's soul path and their soul journey. So that's the whole point and the reason of it, is that the objective is to be more conscious and aware of your existence and your point and purpose of being here and what work needs to be done, because there is work, and it ain't got to be feeling like a chore type work or an obligated feeling of type work. It'd be something that we can enjoy, start having more of an attitude of gratitude for being in existence and having these tasks and this work to do. Be joyful, be appreciative. you know we
Yeah,
just need to focus our energy, channel our energy different. And so that's what I would always disseminate, man. Anybody that crossed my path, anyone that comes across me, that's what I want to disseminate, and that's just truth. That's being genuine and truthful.
yes, sir. Now, with you mentioned distractions, and we live in a time dispensation around where there are a lot of distractions: social media, television,
Mhm.
Netflix, go outside. It's so many different distractions. My question is also, with those distractions, we have a lot of faith healers, spiritual people who are in tune, those
Mhm.
claiming to be woke and I'm so conscious this and herbalist this and enlighten this. My question is, what makes Tre Fillmore and OIC unique? What makes you unique among all the distractions and all those others
Well,
that claim that they do the same thing?
what sets what sets oneness in creation apart from all of the other ventures and the other expressions of these individuals' soul journey, whether they are aware of what they're doing and how they're doing it, being a part of their soul purpose, is really totally up to them. But from me being a separate entity of these sources that are out, displaying this and showing this and encouraging that, I would consider it their journey, because it is part of the journey. Otherwise, they wouldn't be indulging in it. They wouldn't be putting the information out there. What sets oneness in creation apart from those things is that my vehicle of teaching and healing is to focus on self. So as each individual focuses on self, what it does is it aligns a direct path in this whole creation aspect, this whole creation ocean, this whole infinite ocean of creation. It aligns that person as an individual wave to be doing something that is of good intention, that is of upliftment and enlightenment, to add to what the whole ocean of creation is doing, so that the person feels like they're in line. Because the majority of the reason why people feel off track and feel horrible is because there's something deep seated in the soul that the soul is has come into this existence to do, and the mind and the body and the way of doing things is off track. It's out of alignment. So what sets me apart from all these other ventures and all these things that's going on in this paradigm is that I am focusing on bringing about awareness to soul purpose. And I've listened to this and I've listened to that, and a lot of things I'm into and I resonate with. But even those things that I've listened to and resonate with, even those things do not focus on how to align a straight, strategic, strict path in your life of self accountability, holding yourself accountable, doing deep down inside what you know and what you feel is right in every way, shape, form, fashion possible. You know, I mentioned that we fall off track and that, there's things that may, offset us, may knock us off track, there's times where we may get distracted through all of this. But the intent and the point and purpose is to stay aligned by intent, by focus, by being aware of where you are, and based off where you are, what it's going to take to get to where you need to be. And it starts with self-examination. I've never seen or heard anybody, even the ones that I'm into, even the little spiritual gurus that talk, and my favorite speakers, I never hear the whole point and the deep-seated point and purpose is to have self accountability, to check self first, to do a self inventory, and get in tune with what it is that you, as an individual, need to be in tune with, and utilize that in all of creation, in every aspect of your day to day life, no matter what it is. That's what sets oneness in creation apart. For one, it's all about oneness. It's not about they believe this and we believe that. It's not about any of that, because you could be an agnostic, you can be an atheist, you can be a Catholic, you could be a Muslim, you could be a Christian, you can be a Satanist. If that's your journey and you feel real about that and you feel like that's going to get you somewhere upward and forward in your evolution as a soul, then you be true to it. But think about it purposefully of what the intent is. What is your intent? How does it work for you? How is it good for you? And how is it healing and uplifting and encouraging and edifying to humanity? What's your part in creation that's going to be for upliftment, encouragement, and edification? If your soul journey is to not uplift and encourage and edify, okay, that's your choice. Long as you're conscious and aware of it. And you're conscious and aware of the fact that what you put in is what you get out. The fact of the matter is, whatever you put into anything is what you can expect to get out. It's just like a bank account. If you're making these deposits, then you sure to certainly at some point be able to pull out the withdrawals of the deposits you've made in every aspect. So that's really the biggest aspect of, what exclusivize the concepts of oneness in creation, is that it is purposeful to focus first and examine self first. Examine self first, and then based off of the examination of self and knowing self, identify what it is that your point and purpose is, and follow your point and purpose with good intentions. Not everybody was created to be here to do things for upliftment and encouragement, but I feel like the people who will resonate with me, they're trying to get in tune with self and trying to improve self in every way, in every possible way they can, so that when they deal with other things and other people, they sow those same seeds onto those others that they have connection and connectivity and communication with.
Yes, sir. Everybody has a position to play. I agree with you there.
Hmm.
And so I appreciate you sharing what makes oneness and creation unique. My next question
Yes.
would be, what's the value in what you teach? What's the value that you bring as a brand in oneness and creation? How is that valuable?
The way it's valuable, the way I see it valuable is in the aspect that it if you live life without goals and without a purpose and without a drive and an intent of being able to make accomplishments as a being, as a living, breathing being, what happens is it causes a lot of disharmony, and disresonance in everything that you deal with. I feel like the value of it is the soul needs to feel like it's making accomplishments. It needs to feel like it is on track and in line with its intent of being here. Because we didn't just poof and exist. You know, there was something going on in a very powerful heavenly realm previous to us coming here. Because even for us to be here is a magnificent, amazing victory. For us to be in existence is a victory. We just lose our way. The amnesia kicks in. The value of it is, understanding that, look, I am moving on track to be able to do something that is meaningful to me and my life and my existence, and getting people in tune with that. It just makes for a healthier relationship with self first. And if you have a healthy relationship with yourself, then you're going to exude that mannerism out to everyone else that's around you. You're going to feel it. They say misery loves company. Well, it does. When you're miserable, you want other people to be miserable. That's the truth. But also, joy, upliftment, and encouragement is contagious too. And when you're joyful and you feel good, you, being an altruistic individual, want other people to feel good too. So fear affiliates, misery loves company, but joy and upliftment and encouragement want others to feel joyful and uplifted and encouraged as well. You know,
How does oneness and creation and you as an individual and brand give back to the community? What community work do you do?
well,
Or how do
community
you,
work. I,
yeah.
I don't really get out there and do any community work. Like I don't go out and knock on doors and talk to people and stuff like that, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. God sends people to me just based off of conversations that I have with total strangers. God sends people to me, and God gives me the notion and gives me the instincts and intuition to be able to move in a certain way to where I run into certain people and I have a few words with them. I may say three, four different words, and they go, "Oh my God, do you follow anything? Do you speak anywhere?" And I ain't even told them that I speak. And these people, I share with them my YouTube channel. And I even offer, hey, if you got any questions, if you got any concerns, if you're going through something, if you're thinking about something that you just can't figure out and you got anything you want to share with me, feel free to. I do that all the time, man. In my business with selling cars, there's a lot of people who follow me, that follow my information. There's people who will come to me and ask me questions, who ask me for guidance, who ask me for direction, just kind words of upliftment and encouragement help these people bit by bit, one by one. But I don't go out and do any community work. I just go with the flow, and God flows it to me, and I flow towards it, and it just lines up. It lines up, and there's quite a bit of people who come to me when they want words of upliftment and encouragement, or they may have some problems that they might want some direction to. It's been like that for years, even before I started doing OIC. But now that I have the brand, the OIC brand, and the oneness in creation, and the point and purpose behind it, then what it does now, it makes people feel even more comfortable to say, look, I've been dealing with this. I'm struggling with that. How can you help me? What would be your advice? What would you do in these situations? So a lot of even my customers that I've sold cars to have come to me more about things that are uplifting and encouraging and healing to them as far as words and guidance, more so than even asking me anything about cars.
Well, and I appreciate you sharing that. And you mentioned that, well, I don't go out and do any community work. But on the flip side of that, and I understand what you mean, brother, but on the flip side of that, you are doing community work because you're building people and you're connecting people. Those
Right.
people are drawn to you and you're doing the work. You know what I mean? Like you said, if they come back after auto sales or if they heard you or just by words you mentioned. So,
Right.
I understand what you meant, but just another perception of that is you are doing the community work, brother. You know what I mean? And so
And I agree. I feel like I'm touching and tapping into the community by doing it that way. Absolutely. But you know, I know you understand what I'm saying. And I
yeah,
mean, like in a traditional sense of, you
yeah.
know, having community conferences,
Events
meetings,
and
and
going door to
going
door and stuff.
outreach and
Yeah,
doing all that.
I
Yeah.
understand.
So yes, indirectly, I feel like that I am tapping into the community. I am tapping in. Um, and I'm not focusing on just specific community.
Right,
I'm trying to reach humanity.
right,
Humanity community needs the upliftment. Humanity community needs the encouragement, and to just be given, words of guidance, and just in a therapeutic way, saying, look, you're not alone. You know, you're not alone. God is for you. God is with you. And that's what's within you. Is the kingdom is there within you. And on top of that, you have people around you who care and who can guide and direct you as well.
right. Now, my last two questions. You mentioned those people that you spoke words into, that you give words of encouragement, or they come ask you certain things
Hmm.
that you pour into them. Can you share with us how you have impacted a person or a testimony on your impact value from OIC that someone has shared to you, or an experience that you have had concerning the way you've impacted someone?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one, this was very early on, probably around 2014. I would say 2014 to 2015 time period. There was a young lady that felt compelled to reach out to me through ISN, which was an international starseeds network. It was an international network connected to globally. I mean, this was people from all over the world that I was in a community with. And it's a community of people who are esoteric and spiritual understanding. Esoteric meaning these are individuals who are more along the lines of spiritual, metaphysical type aspect of spirituality, not really Bible thumpers, not quoting scriptures and using certain words and names and stuff like that. These were people who felt like they were indigos, light workers, way showers, multidimensional beings, star seeds of all kinds. So I was involved in the International Starseed Network community, and there was a young lady out of Sydney, Australia, that reached out to me. She just felt compelled, and I felt something about this young lady through her profile and stuff like that, and I felt something real intense, real strong, but I didn't pursue anything or striking up a conversation. But lo and behold, the day after, that night that I ran across her profile, that next day she reached out to me and she said, "Sir, is there any way possible that we could talk sometime?" And it just blew me away, man. I got chills, like my hair stood up on my head because it was really strange, the reaction that I felt in my body, in my bones, from looking at her profile and not saying anything to her. And the next morning, I woke up to a message of her saying, "Hello, sir. Is there any way that at one point in time we could speak, if we could have some words with one another?" So, I was shocked a little bit, but shortly that after experiencing the shock, I messaged her back and told her, absolutely. what's on your mind, what is it that you want to discuss. So, just to condense the story, because this conversation and our interaction went on for about maybe 3 to 4 years from that point. But this young lady was experiencing for the last 2 years at this time, the young lady was experiencing a very intense fear of leaving her apartment, her home. And it had been going on for the last 2 years prior to us meeting and corresponding with one another. Well, I would talk to her, and I would have, as I'm communicating with her and just asking her questions and fact finding and guiding myself to more understanding, as well as trying to soothe her and comfort her and guide her along the way, I would ask her certain questions that I felt compelled from within to ask. And as I was asking these questions, these visions were coming to me. And based off of the visions, I would ask questions and I'd get clarification, but I would also get direction to ask a line of certain further questions. But long to the short, this young lady told me that she believed that I had healing cells in my DNA. Now, I believe that my intent was to teach and to heal and to um, bring upliftment and encouragement in every possible way to mankind. So, I mean, that was my intention. But she voiced out to me that she was beginning to gain more courage, that she was beginning to, even if it was just going outside to take out the trash, she was getting more comfortable with doing that. Eventually, it evolved to the point to where she was hanging out with old friends, going to the park, walking around, walking her dog at the park, going out to actually go out to eat with her family. Um, it was just amazing. And she told me she attributed to me and my guidance and my sincerity and being concerned of her condition and just trying to give her some direction. I honestly felt like I was guided from something that was beyond me because I would have visions as I'm communicating with her, and our communication was based off of the visions, and it was based off of the words that would come to me and be, disseminated through me to her. And, it took maybe about 2.5, 3 years, but she told me that her healing and getting back on track and overcoming her fear of leaving the house, she had overcome, and she attributed it all to my my guidance and my teaching and my help.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes,
that's
sir.
one story. But
Yes,
the story is much longer than that. Even what caused her to get to the point of having the fear of leaving home, that's a long, long story drawn
yeah.
out. But that is one thing, one instance that I could say, with my intention, the action was revealed to me that I was actually having an impact on someone.
Yes, sir. My last question. Well, yeah. Well, I had two questions.
All right.
How important is networking to you and your brand in oneness in creation?
Networking is extremely important because I look at everything as one, and I look at, the more we can make connections, the more this oneness can become not just an idea or a word, but become an actual manifested awareness. It can grow. It can grow from a nucleus, a spiritual nucleus, into a spiritual organism and expand out to a living, breathing, aware, conscious entity. You know what I mean? So networking is extremely important. I mean, it's vital. It actually it's basically a definition of oneness in creation because you have all these different aspects of creation all working in harmony in unison with one. You see what I'm saying? And
Yes.
we all can feed off of one another. We all can uh, be a resource to one another. We can all be upliftment, encouragement, and edification, thus enhancing and advancing and improving every aspect of the human condition.
Yes, sir. My last question is, if you had the opportunity in a few minutes to speak to the entire world, be seen on every screen, heard on every speaker, every phone, every device at one
Mhm.
time, that presidential button, what would your words be?
let's evolve. Let's, with an intention, evolve upward and forward. Let's move with the purpose and intent to accomplish our highest good. Let's get on track and in harmony with one another, and start to be conscious of why we are here. And let's grow beyond all of the chaos, calamity, and confusion, because it hasn't served us well thus far. So let's get in tune with self. Let's start to forgive self. Let's start to have more conscious, aware love and understanding for self. That way we can express it in a healthy fashion to one another, because we all are one.
Yes, sir. Well, I want to say I appreciate you for tapping in with me, tapping in with us here on the Plug Room, sharing your journey, sharing your path, your purpose, and some of your story. Before we get out of here, let everybody know where they need to plug in with you online, how they can reach you, and stay connected.
All right. Yeah, definitely. YouTube, go to OIC. That's OIC oneness space in space creation. So between oneness and creation, there's spaces. It's not all together. OIC together, and then oneness in creation. That's on my YouTube channel. There's going to be some reels, some shorts that are going to be coming up. There's 2 episodes thus far up to this point. There is going to be season 1 that will entail 12 episodes before I revamp and, go back to the drawing board and create season 2 of OIC Oneness in Creation. But also there's Oneness in Creation, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and some other platforms. But definitely tune in to the Oneness in Creation Facebook business page and the OIC Oneness in Creation YouTube channel. And feel free to share feedback. Let's try to be uplifting and encouraging to one another. I mean, we can always say negative things and things to bring other aspects of ourselves down, but let's keep it enlightening. Let's try to keep it constructive, not destructive. But definitely, keep ears near and eyes open for the up and coming information that Oneness in Creation is going to be disseminating.
Yes, sir. Again, I appreciate you for your time, brother, and plugging in with us. And we're going to stay tapped in with you and plugged in to see your growth and your journey. And we'll have you circle back around. We'll follow up with you in due time, and then see where you are in that life's timeline, man. So
Absolutely.
I appreciate it, man. You have a blessed day, man.
Absolutely. I have an attitude of gratitude. Stay blessed, more blessed than stressed. All right.
Peace. Make sure you tap in with Tre Fillmore, Oneness in Creation. As he said, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Search him in any search engine, and bring that positive energy and build. At the Plug Room, we like to tell everybody to measure yourself to yourself, not to what to others have done. Always strive to be better tomorrow. Do you, be honest, be creative, and stay 1000. I am your brother, Juan Carlos X, at Slate Stone Music anywhere online. This is the Plug Room, theplugroom.com, where you can plug your business, plug your brand, all about community development. Until next time, peace.